Did you know that deep in the ocean lay a bottle of wine untouched for over 80 years? Now, the secret is coming to light, and it's worth $3.7 million. Imagine a vast empty sea, freezing depths and hidden within it, a sealed container untouched since 1942, filled with bottles of wine preserved perfectly, untouched by air, light, or time. These bottles, hidden away for 8 decades, are not just beverages. They are a treasure that unites history, science, and wealth in a single discovery. 1942 was no ordinary year. The world was engulfed in World War II, global trade was dangerous, and shipping rare or high-quality wines across the seas was perilous. Wines stored in oak barrels or tightly sealed containers were rare, carefully crafted, and often considered a luxury few could access. Today, discovering a collection perfectly preserved for over 80 years is not just about value. It's about holding a piece of history in your hands. When marine explorers first reached the location of a long-lost freighter, they were seeking clues to unravel the past. In the depths, they found a container perfectly intact, with bottles inside that appeared as if they had been sealed yesterday. For 80 years, no human hand had touched them. Only the silent, cold embrace of the ocean had preserved them. Each bottle told a story. Its contents represented a secret held between the sea, time, and human history. A sealed vintage from 1942 is more than a drink. It is a time capsule connecting us directly to a bygone era. The price tag of $3.7 million isn't just financial. It's cultural, historical, and scientific. Normally, wine older than 80 years either deteriorates or spoils. But when a bottle remains completely sealed, free from oxygen, light, and thermal fluctuations, its internal microclimate stays intact. This allows the wine to remain remarkably preserved. Yet the value goes beyond drinkability. Instances like this, where fully preserved historical liquids resurface, are extremely rare. Each bottle from 1942 reflects the technology, customs, and human ingenuity of the time. Opening even one offers a glimpse into that era. The techniques of winemaking, the materials used, the trade networks, and even the lives of the people who crafted and shipped it. Each bottle is like a tiny historical archive, unlocking secrets of the past. The world is captivated because this isn't just a treasure chest of liquid. For historians and scientists, it's a research goldmine. For collectors, it's a fortune waiting to be claimed. For everyone, it's a tangible connection to a world long gone, preserved at the bottom of the sea. Next, we'll see how this container ended up in the ocean depths, the advanced technology used to recover it, and the astonishing discoveries the explorers made along the way. The ocean holds secrets that time itself seems to have forgotten, and some treasures only reveal themselves to those daring enough to reach the abyss. The $3.7 million vintage wine was not discovered by chance. It took meticulous planning, cutting-edge technology, and a team willing to brave the unknown. The first step was locating the freighter. According to old shipping records, during 1942, a cargo ship carrying luxury goods, including high-end wines, had vanished somewhere off the Azores. Decades of ocean currents, storms, and shifting seabeds had hidden it from view. But using modern sonar scanning and historical maps, marine archaeologists narrowed down the search to a cold, desolate stretch of ocean floor. Equipped with remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, the team descended into the darkness. The water pressure was crushing, temperatures barely above freezing, and visibility almost non-existent. Every meter closer to the wreck was a reminder of how unforgiving the deep ocean can be. Then, after hours of navigating rocky seabeds, the sonar picked up a shadow. A rectangular outline that didn't belong to the natural seabed. The container was there, just as the old records had hinted. Reaching the container required precise maneuvering. The ROVs were outfitted with robotic arms, cameras, and sensors capable of scanning the contents without disturbing them. Every movement had to be calculated. A wrong touch could crack a bottle or disrupt the sealed environment that had preserved the wine for 80 years. The first close-up revealed intact wooden crates, still bound by metal straps, the wood darkened and weathered but unbroken. The seals, remarkably, had not given way. The moment they began to lift the container, the ocean floor seemed to hold its breath. Slowly, the treasure was brought to the surface, a vessel emerging from the abyss that had kept it hidden for generations. Once aboard, the first inspection was careful and thorough. Each crate was examined with scientific precision. Moisture levels, air content, and even microscopic organisms were analyzed to ensure the wine inside had remained untouched. What amazed everyone was not just the preservation, but the story each crate seemed to tell. Labels from 1942 were still legible, some partially faded but unmistakable. The brands were a mix of European vintages, rare blends that were considered exceptional even at the time. Every bottle was a bridge between a world in turmoil, wartime Europe, and the silent, protective ocean that had held them safe. Opening the first crate was a ceremony in itself. Scientists wore gloves and masks, not only to protect the wine, but to respect its historical integrity. As the crate lid came off, a subtle earthy aroma escaped, a scent of history rather than just grape. It was a reminder that these were not just beverages, they were witnesses to decades of human and natural history. Testing the wine for quality and drinkability was a delicate process. Tiny samples were drawn using sterile techniques to ensure the rest of the bottle remained untouched. Chemists marveled at how the chemical composition had largely remained intact, despite the decades beneath the sea. Tannins, sugars, and acids had balanced naturally over time, creating flavors that modern winemakers could only dream of replicating. It was both science and art, a moment that felt almost sacred. But recovery wasn't just about the wine. Every piece of the container, every nail, crate, and label was studied to understand how the ocean had preserved them so perfectly. The wooden crates had absorbed minerals from the seawater, subtly strengthening the structure. The corks had maintained a perfect seal because the water pressure had compressed them just enough to stay airtight. Even the layer of sediment on top acted like a protective blanket, shielding the contents from light and movement. The team realized they were witnessing more than a treasure haul. It was an accidental preservation experiment conducted by nature itself. Each bottle told not just the story of its origin, but also of the ocean, how centuries-old water currents, temperature stability, and pressure could create a perfectly preserved time capsule. News of the discovery spread rapidly. Wine collectors, historians, and even filmmakers were captivated. Questions arose. How did this container remain hidden for so long? Were there other similar treasures lying undiscovered in the abyss? And most importantly, what could we learn from the techniques of preservation imposed naturally by the ocean? Yet despite the excitement, the team remained cautious. Removing the wine was only part of the story. Transporting it to land without exposing it to sudden changes in pressure or temperature required custom-built refrigeration units and climate-controlled containers. The process was painstaking but essential. A single misstep could ruin decades of preservation in an instant. The first bottles were transported to a laboratory specially designed for historical beverages. Experts in oenology, the science of wine, studied them under microscopes, documenting every detail from sediment patterns to cork integrity. Even the tiniest bubbles trapped in the wine were analyzed, revealing subtle chemical reactions that had occurred naturally over the decades. Each observation added a new layer to the story, a story of resilience, history, and the delicate balance between human craftsmanship and nature's unintentional preservation. As the world waited for official valuations, one thing became clear. This discovery was more than a multi-million-dollar curiosity. It was a testament to time, a reminder that even in the chaos of human history, the natural world could protect, preserve, and reveal wonders long after we forget. For those who had risked everything to recover it, the thrill was in the journey as much as the treasure. From historical research to deep-sea diving to the delicate scientific examination, each step revealed secrets that had been buried beneath the waves for generations. And yet, the story was far from over. Next, the explorers would face the challenge of determining the true value of this vintage collection. Beyond monetary worth, there were cultural, historical, and scientific implications to consider. They would also investigate the original shipping route, uncovering clues about why the container sank and whether it had ever been tampered with or diverted during wartime. Every detail promised to deepen the story, adding layers of intrigue to what had already become one of the most remarkable discoveries in modern history.